Hi all together, welcome to today's webinar hosted by the Open Telecom Cloud community. Today we have a circle partner here in this webinar. This partner here is called Storage Made Easy. Today we have from Storage Made Easy side, Achim and Matt in the call here. And from the circle partner side, we have also Ulf here.
Yeah, hi, Stefan, thank you very much for the introduction. Thanks to Achim and Matt for being here. And I'm very happy that they can introduce their SaaS solution running on Open Telecom Cloud, which they have deployed within the Circle Partner Program. I just think I give you a short recap on the Circle Partner Program, just in case you may not have heard yet. So what do we do in our partner program? We address startups, SaaS and PaaS provider, consulting and managed service providers. Yeah, it's a give and take partnership, so we strive to accelerate business and on both sides, on the partner side and on OTC side, and work together on this. How do we do that? With our partners, we do joint sales and marketing activities. For our partners, we have technical support and enablement. And of course, we provide commercial benefits. After all, we reward commitment to the Open Telecom Cloud. And it's all about a joint market approach. And with that, I hand over to Achim and Matt. And I'm happy to see the solution.
Thank you very much, Ulf. Welcome to Storage Made Easy in combination with Open Telecom Cloud. We want to present you a short conceptual overview and then a live impression into the main functionality, and hopefully you get interested in some of our key features and values. Yeah, my name is Achim von Montigny. I'm responsible for the sales in Europe, based in Switzerland. My colleague Matt Nolan is based in UK, from a pre-sales solution point of view, supporting prospects and partners with a technical focus. And we are, as OTC is a European cloud, Storage Made Easy is a European software vendor, founded 2009 in London, with a global presence in US, UK, and mainland Europe. And we launched our solution 10 years ago, 2012. First product, which was a cloud file manager for S3 storage, and now 10 years later we have a full-fledged massive scalable enterprise file fabric with more than 60 storage connectors. Our focus market is the B2B enterprise business, typically between 100 users, several thousand users. We also have customer with larger 5-digit number of users. That's a background of the company, still privately financed and headquarters in the area of London with a European development team. Yeah, and what's the challenges? We are living in a data-driven economy. The growth of data and also the growth of the single files is massive. Unstructured data we have on all data silos, on cloud, on premise, on need to access on devices. So our customers, enterprises needs data governance, data security, and more remote access to those files living on those storages. They need to monitor the data access, who has the availability to access and share data. And we see also more and more enterprises optimizing their primary and secondary storage due to cost issues. Which data needs to be in a hot place, and which data need to be shifted, and everything needs to be accessible from all devices, desktop, mobile, and so on. And our file fabric is really the control platform, the data management platform for these cloud and on-prem scenarios in a quite flexible and cost efficient manner. And the big picture is that Storage Made Easy sells a software product. So we're not selling storage, we're not selling hardware. We are a software vendor, a typical ISV, now partnering with OTC. And to have a single namespace over unstructured data and files for the entire enterprise. Yeah, and we bundle this with existing storage solutions like OTC object storage, and customers can combine existing local NAS filers, what they have, and combine it in a single namespace for ensuring compliance issues, cybersecurity issues, have more control about these data. And I always say that Storage Made Easy is the last mile between object storage and the end user. Yeah, so we really transforming object storage into a typical file management platform, a global file system. And important to know is that our whole technology is based on a metadata index. Yeah, so we take your current storage information and index the whole technical environment, and based on this metadata index, we provide all the services you later see, like deep content search, sharing of files, having data automations rule based on regulations, and this metadata index is important from a conceptual view, but also the whole architecture means that we have no vendor lock-in. We have a very API-driven architecture, so it's nicely fits into the existing environments. And a lot of our customers are using us as a kind of hybrid cloud file manager, or also multi-cloud file manager. Hybrid if they connect on-prem and private, and multi means different storage connectors which are available for migration. If you have an M&A process in your enterprise and you get another subsidiary who has another architecture, you can combine it and then shift the data, for example, here to the OTC, where we live as a virtual instance in an existing hypervisor, and based on these we have different solutions. So customers using us as a file server consolidation platform, moving their files into the cloud, and using us as the end user cloud file management system for security issues, for remote access issues, but also in the healthcare business, you can have real-time content discovery. So if you have sensitive data, for example, customers, when a patient is moving from a public hospital to a private healthcare doctor, there are rules which data needs to move, which data are allowed. You can define these data movement rules or data automation rules into our platform, and this will be covered in real time by Storage Made Easy. But also the point of secure file sharing, which customer is allowed to get what data, how long he has access. This can all be managed in one single platform, based with all your existing users, with Active Directory integration. And more and more customers are coming also from the ransomware protection, data security point of view to have us as a layer on their main data. And in this picture, you see also the value of the combination with OTC, with the native GDPR compliance, with the data centers in Germany, Netherlands, and Switzerland, with built-in regulations for German health professionals, and the customer can be sure that those data managed by Storage Made Easy and OTC never leaves Europe, and can really comply with local compliance issues. Yes, and this picture, I think, is the most important one. You see how it works from left to right. Yeah, you start with connecting, with using our more than 60 data connectors to connect, combine also file and object storage together in a very elegant way. Matt will show you how this will move with wizards. As step 2, I mentioned the indexing of this architecture below. Then you integrate your existing users, your roles, your rights from a security level, and based on this index with the defined users, you have several services out of the box, like a deep content search in real time for the whole digital content which is connected to the platform. You can use it as a cloud file server, as a single namespace, as a kind of Google Maps view onto your data, integrate with Microsoft Teams. Your end users can collaborate with Microsoft Online in real time on those documents. It's a Teams integration, but also Slack integration, and the whole cybersecurity and compliance rules can work on these, and specific data services like file transfer acceleration for big data. We have a special acceleration module built in who speeds up, for example, digital workflows for creative workers who don't want to wait for their big files to be edited or something else. So that's the whole concept from connecting, indexing, securing, and then executing those services we are offering on this platform. Yeah, and most important, all the enterprise customers we are targeting, they mostly have the Microsoft environment on an end user level, like Office Online, like Microsoft Teams. So we are simply another tab in a Microsoft Teams environment. So the end user doesn't know where all the data is being stored. He can use our technology as he is used to work with Microsoft Teams. He can share those data from Teams. He can access also in a remote fashion from all devices with our client apps, with our desktop version, and he can grow the data as he needs it. Key use cases are for example coming from three areas. One use case is the cybersecurity approach. For example, we have European research institutes who want to share data for several hundreds of their researchers and need to be sure that these data are being encrypted and secured against ransomware in an efficient way. So that's one approach. The second one, for example, we have a customer, Europe's largest fitness chain, who needed to consolidate all their file servers into the cloud, and they chose StorageMate Easy as a kind of end user access to their object storage as a new cloud-based file server for several thousands of users, for having the ability really to audit the data access from a CIO level, to minimize the shadow IT, to have secure file sharing, and all the built-in advantages such a cloud governance platform like StorageMate Easy gives the values in a cloud world. And a third use case, for example, is data acceleration. We have large creative digital agencies who have really big files going through the digital workflow for the end users. They're working, for example, with Adobe Creative Platform on the client, and don't have the need to wait for all the data coming through. So we helping us to split the files into smaller parts so they can start working, and the other parts of the data are being transferred in parallel. So we have specific modules to speed up the whole data workflow towards the end user. Yeah, and what's our model about licensing and how to engage? So we need normally three key factors. We're counting our licenses on the number of users, how many users will work with the platform, what's the storage under management, for example, in OTC, are we talking about terabytes or already petabytes, and which modules the customer would need, the standard full-fledged file fabric, or has he specific needs for data acceleration, where we have premium modules like our MStream or upcoming SMB stream or WebStream modules for specific use cases. And we normally target the market with starting 100 users the customer gets 2 appliances. He has a right to work with 150 terabytes storage under management, and we've defined a subscription model for these kinds, so he pays a specific amount per year. Also with the availability to have a 3 years or 5 years contract, as it normally we work with service partners who have 5 years managed service contracts for the customers that want to include the combined solution into their contracts. We also have consulting and training available. We train also partners and resellers. And for the German-speaking market in the DACH region, we work together with the systems and are available via our distributor ADN, who has also a relationship with the systems. So that's one example, and the other possibility is to contact your systems and OTC team and also our sales team to work on specific license module for the architecture. And by the way, we have also very interesting YouTube videos for specific verticals, for specific technical aspects of our platform. You can find on our YouTube platform prior to the live demo. Matt will show you now on the next part. Yeah. So I hope that this gives a first impression of the conceptual overview. Thanks for this part. Matt, over to you now.
Thank you, Akim. Okay, so thank you, Akim, for the introduction. As mentioned, my name is Matt Nolan. I'm a pre-sales consultant at SME. Today, I'm just going to basically give you guys a high-level overview of the file fabric and some of its capabilities. So if we just start from an architectural point of view, and I'll set the scene a little bit around the file fabric. The file fabric is a fully virtualized appliance. It can be installed in all hypervisors, both on-premise, public cloud, and in this instance within OTC, as this has been installed. The solution can be installed in a highly available manner, in an active passive cluster. It can be scaled up and scaled out, so different parts of the product can be run in different parts of the network to allow for configuration requirements that may exist within customers. Because the solution is multi-tenanted, there are a number of levels of access to the solution. So we can log in as an appliance administrator. We can log in as a tenant. The solution is able to be tenanted out. We can log in as an end user or as a tenant administrator. So the solution, or the majority of the demonstration today, will be done as an organizational administrator or tenant administrator. And I will flick over at certain points during the demonstration and show you how what we've set up will appear to the end user. There are a number of ways we can access the solution, and Akim has already mentioned some of these. For the demonstration today, we'll mainly be concentrating on the web UI and client access through desktop and mobile. We can also access using WebDAV, SFTP, FTP. We have a full REST API that allows for integration into maybe existing applications that customers have. So there's a whole range of options around how users can access their data, depending on, well, independent of which storage that may exist on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in. So first of all, I'm just going to sort of explain a little bit around the tenant and how tenants are built up. So we're going to log in as the appliance administrator. The appliance administrator is mainly, the best way of looking at it is it's like a god admin, if you like. So it allows you to configure the whole appliance from, as we say here, from the look and feel. So the branding can all be configured, as we've done some basic branding here. But we have integration where you can integrate CSS scripts, for example, to really make this look and feel as your customers want. We can also, to create tenants, we create what we call user packages. Okay, so here we've got some user packages. This is a appliance that has a number of tenants on it. One of those is the T-Systems or OTC demo that we're going to do today. Okay, and within this, you can set this up for a very, very granular level in terms of what this tenant or tenants that are attached to this package are able to do and to have visibility of, even down to how much storage they're available as users, the number of what we call providers they can connect to, how the UI looks, some of the features that are available, and then down the bottom here we've got all the different storage connectors we can connect to, of which OTC is one of those. Okay, so once we've connected the storage, we then need to just log in as the tenant administrator for that tenant that we've assigned. Okay, so I'm going to log in here as the tenant administrator. So this is now the next level down to where we were previously. Okay, and the first thing we have to do is we have to attach the storage to the solution. Okay, and this can be done through the dashboard feature at the top. And in this instance, we've got some object storage attached to this sat in OTC. Okay, we've got a bucket attached. If we wanted to add a new provider, we would add this new provider, and based on the list of storage providers we saw on the within the appliance administrator that's been set for this tenant, we then get a list of all the providers that are visible. So in this instance, we've got access to a number of different providers, of which OTC is one through our open S3 connector that we have. But we can connect to existing SMB shares, and we can connect to NFS exports, and every S3 connector that's built in between as well. Okay. So once you've connected, so if we just click add provider, sorry, and we just choose the open S3 and we add the provider, at this point we're asked for the host details, the endpoint host details, the access key, and the secret key, as you would expect. And we can also choose to index the data. So by default, out of the box, the solution allows for searching on file name and the metadata that's associated to that, whether that be the metadata that's been brought across from the storage provider or the metadata that you can add either at upload or at a later stage. This option here then allows you to search for the content within that on text-based documents. Okay, at this point we click continue, and we will be presented with a list of buckets that this access key has permissions to see. We would then select one or many buckets that you want to present to the file fabric. And at this point, as Kim mentions, the file fabric does a number of things. So the first thing it will do is it will go to the storage and it will scan that storage. It will build a metadata model of that storage in our database. A couple of things that are really important here. So the first thing to say is that we do not move the data at any stage. The data will always reside. We don't move, we don't copy. It will always reside in its original location. The second thing to say is that we don't proprietize the data in any way at all, meaning that if you have users or you have applications that are already accessing that data, that is still possible as well, and the file fabric has no impact upon that. So once we've clicked continue, we've added the storage now becomes visible within our file manager, and this is where users and administrators will spend the majority of their time. Okay, so in here, if I just set the scene a little bit around this, on the left hand side here we have our storage that's been connected. Again, you need to remember that I am the administrator here, so I have a view of everything. As an end user, I will only see the files and folders that I have access to see, and we'll come on to that at a later stage. Okay, so here on the left hand side we have our object storage, and then we have our bucket that's been attached. If we were to add additional providers, or if a customer said, okay, they want to connect to an SMB share and have access to OTC at the same time, that would be possible. That would appear as another storage provider under here with the relevant connections to that. So in here, I've just created a bucket. I've got a number of what I've called departments, which are basically folders. and within these folders, I can start to take action and do certain things. Okay, so if we go into our finance department here, we've got some files in here, and we can start and we can, for example, we can preview within the web UI. Okay, so we support a large number of file types within this capability. So if we think of Office files, PDF files, AutoCAD, DICOM images for healthcare, movies, audio files, and there's a whole list of file types that can be previewed within the web browser with no need for additional plugins, just making use of the capabilities of the browser. Okay, we can also go and look at there's information about it. So there's a whole range of information around the file. So this is what's been brought across. We can also comment on it and collaborate and work. So here, for example, I can make use of the @ sign and put someone's name in, and it will notify them that comments have been placed against the document, for example. Okay. We also have, as Kim mentioned before, we also have integration with Office 365. So here I've got a number of ways that I can actually open this document, edit it, and work on it. So I can open it natively in Office and making use of Office 365. I can edit it with Office, making use of the collaboration feature, so the ability for two users to be able to collaborate on a document at the same time, whilst recording all the changes, saving everything all within the file fabric, and and making use of the capabilities that the file fabric has. Okay, we can also start to back files up. We can recover files. There's a locking capability, and you'll see that in action shortly. Okay, we have versioning as well within the product, and I'll show you that again shortly. Okay, so we'll go in here. We'll open this document, and this will open in Office, in Excel online. Okay, so a couple of things that we can edit it, we can work on it as you would expect. It will save it back to the file fabric, which will then save it in this case instance to the object store on OTC. Okay, couple of things. So automatically you can see this file has been locked, and that becomes more important when we start making use of the sharing capabilities and different users working on different files at the same time. The other thing that we can see is, as mentioned before, is versions that are made use of, and users, if they have permissions to do so, can start to make those current versions. They can recover those versions. There's a whole list of data protection features that are built into the product that users can make use of, as well as further data protection things that administrators can make use of if needed as well. Once we've shown the file, we can edit it within Office 365. One of the other things that's really a really big use case for the file fabric is the ability to share your data. And Kim mentioned before how we are able to bring the object storage to the end users in a way that end users are used to. So for example, we have a map drive, or cloud drive as we call it, that allows you to map the data that the user has access to their desktop, so they can see it, for example, within Finder or within Explorer. We also have a sync tool, so they can sync that data down and have it visible on their devices as well. And then we have the mobile application as well. So from a sharing perspective, there are a number of ways that the user can, or the administrator or the owner of the data can share that out. Okay, so they can share it internally within the organization, so amongst users that the file fabric knows about. So they can be Active Directory users, Active Directory groups, local users, or local groups. Or we also have integration with SAML providers as well that may exist. If we here I've converted this folder to a shared, what we call a shared team folder. So this then gives me the ability to share this folder with other users. Okay, I can right click on this folder now. There's a whole range of options, but we're just going to concentrate on permissions here. Okay, and we can start to apply NTFS-like permissions to the storage, or in this case, the OTC object storage, and present this out into a meaningful way to the end users. So here in this example, I've got two users, user one, who's got read and download, read and write permissions, sorry. And you can even become more granular in terms of the levels of permissions that users can have. So for example, we could say user one, for some reason, we don't want to allow them to have upload permissions, and we can take that away from them if we so wish. User two has read-only permissions to that folder. It's important to say that folders can be, or permissions are hierarchical as well, as you would expect for SMB shares, for example. Okay, so very NTFS-like permissions that can be applied for the users. Okay. So if we now what I'm going to do is I've set this up so I can now look at this from an end user perspective, and we can take a look at the file fabric. Okay, so if I now go back to my other session here I've got running, we can go in here, okay, and we can look at this. So we've got this presented out as a drive letter, okay, and this user, so I'm now logged in as user 2. This user has access to the two folders here that we can see, okay, and we can go into these and we can take a number of actions. So we can open them as you would expect, but one of the things we can start doing is we can start to share this data out to external parties, and I'll come on to the external file sharing piece and all the security and compliance that we can bring around the sharing of data externally with parties that you need additional security around. Okay, we can also comment on it as we saw before, all from within the client tool itself. So if I just go back now and we concentrate on the external file sharing, the external file sharing can take place in two ways. So it can be outbound, okay. So the way I guess we're used to on a day-to-day basis, where we provide a link or some other means of access. The user clicks on it, they can download or view the file, and around that we have a whole raft of security features. But we can also allow users to upload files into the solution. So maybe using it as more of maybe as an FTP replacement tool to allow them to click on a link. They get provided with a browser, they upload it, and it gets sent in. The recipient of that will then receive can receive a notification, and that the end user has no visibility of where that storage is and where that file has been uploaded to. Okay, so if we just go through and set some of these up. So here we have a folder called uploaded files. It's got one T-Systems logo sat in it. Okay, we can share this file, and we can share in a number of ways. Okay, and hopefully, time allowing today, I'll be able to show you guys how the teamed integration works. We can do it by URL, which is what I'm going to show you, and we can also do it via groups. So we have a concept called business groups that allows for you to collaborate with external users and create virtual workspaces to then allow you to work with those. Okay, so I'm just going to go by URL. Okay, and what we have here is some of the security settings that can be set. So we can, for example, we can limit this share that we're going to create, or this link that we're going to create with a certain user, and that can either be a user internally or on the system, or it can be with a authentication to the system, or it can be just via email, for example. Okay, once we have that set up, we can then start making use of additional features such as two-factor authentication. So the user would receive a link, they click on that link, they then receive an email with or an SMS with a verification code, as we're all used to these days, and enter that, and then they would be able to access their data, just allowing for additional security. We can also apply expiration time scales as well. So you could say, for example, 7 days in this example here. We can also provide passwords to it. One of the important things to say is that all the settings on here can all be set by policy within the tenant itself. So in this example here, this has been set by what we call the organizational policy. so as this password. Okay, so if I was to, for example, to try and create this link, it wouldn't let me. So in this, I'm just going to enter a password in here, and I want this to be a upload folder. So there's a feature called drop folder, which allows us to upload the files into this location. Okay, and I'm also going to choose to hide any existing files. A useful tool for customers who are sharing this with multiple external parties, and they don't want to have them to have visibility of the files that other users might have uploaded to that folder or that logo, or might just be in that location anyway. Okay, so I'm going to click on next. Okay, we then get presented with another screen with some options around the delivery of the share, so who it's going to, the email address, and the reason. So some further sort of compliance features. Again, all these can be set by the administrator to be policy or dictated to from above, that users have to enter these in. And finally, just before I generate the link, at any point in time, end users can come in here and manage what we call manage the link. So for example, if they send a link and they decide that they shouldn't have sent it, they can expire it at any point. They can change the settings that we've set within here, so they can lengthen the expiration, decrease it. There's a whole range of options that can take place. Okay, so I'm just going to generate this link. Okay, and I'm just going to copy that to clipboard. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly flick over here and open this link up. Okay, so the first thing we'll see, this is now me acting as an end user. The first thing we will see is it prompts me as you would expect for the password. Okay, so I'm going to open that password, enter that file. Oh, apologies. But what I can do is I can upload files, and I can, for example, drag and drop. So if I go to this downloads folder here, and if I choose a file of reasonable size and drag this file across, this file is now going to be uploaded to the uploaded files location that we've been given access to. A couple of things to note quickly is we are making use of the MStream capabilities of the product. So we are uploading this file, well, it was in 4 streams, it's now gone to 2. So we break the file down and we make use of the bandwidth that is available, that user has availability of, to maximize or decrease the time that file takes to upload. Okay, so that file has been uploaded. If I now go back to the folder as the end user and just refresh this, so as the administrator, you can see this file is now visible in here, and I can preview this file immediately, and just do that and show that file within the web browser itself. Okay, so that's shown you the file sharing capabilities, both internally with users that the system knows about, and externally as well within the solution. And also the file transfer acceleration feature called MStream that makes use of the bandwidth that's available to transfer files both from client to storage, from storage down to the client, and also storage to storage, so between different storage vendors. If you were to, for example, to copy files within here, which is possible if we had object store, the OTC object store here, and we had an alternative storage vendor, maybe Office 365, so you had a SharePoint instance sat in here, you could copy data seamlessly through the file fabric. So that's if now on a couple of things, other things I want to focus on are the options at the top here. So we have search capabilities within the product. I sort of mentioned these previously before. So we can search out of the box by file name and the metadata. Okay, but we also have deep content searching built into the product as well, that allows you then to search the contents of text documents, and we also have integration that allows for searching of images as well, if needed. So in this case, I'm going to run some basic searches here. Okay, so I'm going to search for the word contract on this system here. Okay, and what you can see is this has returned a number of files. Okay, in this case, it's returned this file, and it's returned it because it's got contract in the name. Okay, but also at the time this file was uploaded, I tagged it with the word contract as well. So it's allowed me to find it based on that. And that's exactly the same for this document here. Okay, we can start making use of tags and searching even further here. So we've got tags here, and we've got a number of different options here. So maybe we want to look for a file that's been tagged with the word rain in it, for example. Okay, so if we just delete that one and just add that in, okay, so with a tag of rain, and what you can see is the Singing in the Rain MP4 file has come back and been returned. Couple of things to mention about the search capability. So again, as I've mentioned before, I'm logged in here as the end user. As the administrator, and so I have visibility of all the storage that the solution offers, or has been accessed, or has been provided to the file fabric. If I was the end user, I would only be able to search on the files and folders that I have been given access to see, okay, or to work on. So that's an important feature of the product. So just finally, I want to just flick over and just show you how this would look from a mobile perspective. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my mobile device at this end. Okay, so here we have the mobile device. All this can be branded, and this is just the version that can be downloaded from the App Store, okay, the public App Store. If we go to Cloud Files here, you can see we have access to the files and folders that this user has access to, okay? And they can view those, they can comment on them, they can open them, view previous versions, download it if they so wish. There's a whole range of options that the users can and cannot do from the mobile app. Obviously, in my instance, this is running on iOS, but it's supported on Android and and other devices as well. So that's pretty much the demonstration completed. And if there's any questions or anything of interest, please let us know.
Yeah, I just want to mention that we also offer evaluation licenses in combination with OTC, and also our offer to make a more detailed presentation on specific topics you might have. That's the reason why we published our email addresses, our contact details here. So please contact us for any questions afterwards, and also for specific project-based questions, we're happy to support.
Thank you a lot for participating here, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.